Let us remember Saint Stephen today, who he was and how he became the first Christian martyr, and why his feast is celebrated on December 26th and not today or tomorrow when we have the readings about his martyrdom. And following Stephen's story, let us see what is in it for us. In the early Christian church, all followers of Jesus attended the temple, and the apostles taught them to break bread and to pray together. Possessions and property were sold and held in common for the benefit of everyone according to their needs. But it is soon that a dispute arises over food distribution. And food isn't distributed fairly to Greek widows. So they tell the apostles about it so it can be fixed. The apostles suggested that the Greek groups appoint 7 men filled with wisdom and the Holy Spirit to ensure fair and equal food distribution. And this is our first meeting with Stephen. He performs great signs and wonders and is full of grace and power, as we heard in the first reading today. He also goes out teaching and preaching in the synagogue and speaks with power and authority that cannot be denied. The people of these synagogues accuse him of blasphemy. They take him before the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem and set up false witnesses who claim that Stephen had said that Jesus will destroy the temple and do away with the law of Moses. Jesus remained silent when the charges were brought against him. But Stephen, he launched into a long and powerful speech, not in his defense, but as it turns out, accusing the people of Israel of adultery and blasphemy. The speech is highly inflammatory and it enrages the Sanhedrin and others listening. And that is their last straw. All hell breaks out, and Stephen is dragged off, probably thrown into a pit and stoned. A cruel punishment and a terrible way to die. That's the end of his story from the Bible. But there is more to it. The National Catholic Register for Saints adds, in 415 AD, a priest from Jerusalem was sleeping in the baptistry of his church, and his baptistry doubled as his bedroom to protect the sacred vessels from theft, which was very common at that time. Half asleep, he saw an elderly man walking toward him and calling him by name. The old man said, I am Gamaliel, who instructed Paul in the law, the same Gamaliel who saved Saints Peter and John in their lives when they were brought before the Sanhedrin. It is said that Gamaliel had become a Christian secretly. During his appearance to Lucian, the priest, Gamaliel told him the location of Saint Stephen's tomb, which had been lost for centuries. Gamaliel buried Stephen's body in a tomb he had prepared for himself and for his family in Kafar Kamala, modern-day Beir Jimal, Israel. The lost tomb was not far from where Lucian's church was. He also revealed that Gamaliel and Nicodemus, who came to Jesus by night and who assisted Joseph of Arimathea in burying Jesus' body, were also buried in the same tomb as Saint Stephen. And Gamaliel was sent to Lucian by God so he could enshrine the relics of Saint Stephen in the churches so that God could open its gates to many. And Gamaliel instructed Lucian to carry the relics to the holy city after witnessing the opening of Saint Stephen's tomb. And Lucian did not want to be gullible. He was only half awake, and when he had this vision, or maybe it was only a dream, he was not sure. So he prayed for a guidance and put off seeing the patriarch John. But Gamaliel returned after 3 weeks and rebuked Lucian. And this time, Lucian was convinced that the vision was real. So he delayed no longer and called upon the patriarch John. And John instructed him to excavate and to find out what Lucian had said. Lucian found the remains of all the three saints, Stephen, Gamaliel, and Nicodemus. And Patriarch John and a large crowd of clergy and faithful came to the tomb. St. Stephen's bones were placed in a chest, and as they were doing it, more than 70 witnesses suffering from serious ailments were healed as he did so. So St. Stephen's relics were recovered on December 26th, 450. And so we celebrate the feast of first martyr of Christianity on December 26th. The story of St. Stephen teaches us the importance of courage and unwavering faith in the face of opposition. May the example of forgiveness and love for his enemies inspire us even in difficult circumstances.